South Korea's president is speaking out about the death of 웜비어. Moon Jae-in is also calling for direct talks with the North Korean regime. Norah O'Donnell spoke with President Moon at his residence just hours after news of 웜비어's death broke. She joins us now from Seoul, South Korea. Norah, good morning to you.
Hey, good morning to you, Gail. That's right. This is President Moon's first television interview, and it comes ahead of this big summit that he's going to have with President Trump next week at the White House. He is promising this fundamental shift in how to deal with North Korea. So we asked President Moon how this news of 웜비어's death may affect this new strategy.
We have learned that 웜비어, a 22-year-old American student, has died. What are your thoughts on his passing?
First of all, I would like to convey my deepest condolences to the bereaved family of Mr. 웜비어 and the American people for the sorrow and shock they are suffering through. We can make speculations that there were many unjust and cruel treatments to Mr. 웜비어, and I strongly condemn such cruel actions by North Korea. Even today, there are many Korean nationals and American citizens who are detained in North Korea. I also urge North Korea to return these people to their families.
Senator John McCain has said that 웜비어 was murdered by the Kim Jong-un regime. Do you believe the North Koreans should be held responsible for his death?
그렇습니다.
Yes, this had happened while Mr. 웜비어 was in the detention of North Korean authorities. We cannot know for sure that North Korea killed Mr. 웜비어, but I believe it is quite clear that they have a heavy responsibility in the process that led to Mr. 웜비어's death.
How does this affect your efforts to restart the dialogue with North Korea?
I believe we must now have the perception that North Korea is an irrational regime. Working with such a country, we must achieve the goal of the complete dismantlement of North Korea's nuclear program.
How do you sit knee to knee, as you promised, with an irrational leader and negotiate?
I believe that dialogue is necessary. We were unable to resolve the North Korean nuclear issue through only the sanctions and pressure.
The idea of engaging in dialogue with North Koreans before they are denuclearized is fundamentally at odds with long-standing U.S. policy. So what are you going to say to President Trump when you meet with him next week?
I believe that my position is not at odds with the policy of the United States or that of President Trump. It seems to me that President Trump has criticized the failed former policies of his predecessor administrations, and on that point I have the same view as President Trump.
But it's not clear that even under President Trump that he will agree to allow you to negotiate with the North Koreans without any preconditions. And you want to do that. You want to start a dialogue without any concessions by the North Koreans. Aren't you giving in to them?
I have never mentioned a dialogue with no preconditions whatsoever. I believe that first we must vie for a freeze of North Korea's nuclear and missile programs, and then, as a second phase, try to achieve the complete dismantlement of North Korea's nuclear program. And I believe there are voices supporting such a step-by-step approach, even within the United States.
And part of that step-by-step approach is President Moon believes he's going to get the green light from President Trump to have these bilateral talks with North Korea, to begin this inter-Korean dialogue. Part of that as well is whether President Moon thinks he can go to Pyongyang and meet directly with Kim Jong-un to try and denuclearize North Korea, or at least begin this freeze. Charlie?
No, Kim Jong-un has said that his nuclear program is non-negotiable. Why should he be willing to engage in a freeze?
It's a great question, and that's the question we ask. Why would he agree to a freeze? I mean, what concessions does he want? What are the South Koreans going to give him? And what President Moon said is that the North Korean leader has this blind faith that that's what's keeping his regime alive, and they're going to try and make him believe through talks that they can be a stable regime without that.
Norah O'Donnell in Seoul, thank you so much.